Hi, I'm Yulia Hanansen, and this is Mosaic Arts Online. In this online course, I will teach you about layered glass mosaics. I developed this technique as a matter of necessity in order to be able to depict topographical views, forests, solar flares, hurricanes, and other subjects that interest me. So I've brought with me here my travel piece to show you what is possible with layered mosaics. So there's very, very small pieces that I use here. And the composition itself is quite small. The pieces are small, and I've layered them one on top of the other. In order for me to teach this workshop for you effectively, I am going to work on a different image that is slightly bigger than this piece. In fact, it's 32 inches by 32 inches in size. And we will work on a small section that I will show you how to make. There is a beauty about layered glass mosaics because in difference with the traditional mosaic, this mosaic is all about the infinity. In traditional mosaic, when you put your last piece, that's when your mosaic is finished. In layered mosaic glass, you can put down infinite number of pieces in here, or close to infinite, and you are the one who decides when your mosaic is done. In this course, you will learn how to choose appropriate image for your mosaic, and I will also point out what images work the best and what images won't work, because not all of them are appropriate. I will show you how to prepare the substrate for the use, how to build the base layer that mosaic is going to sit on, and I will show you how to choose the color palette for your mosaic. In this course, you will be learning just the basic shape, spiraling the image out. And I think it's very useful as a practice piece because there's a variety of layouts that you can do in here. I will teach you my signature cut, which is the brush stroke that I've developed. We will work with stained glass. And I will show you how to cut glass appropriately, and I'll show you how to cut it into very small pieces. And if something goes wrong with cutting, I will show you how to troubleshoot the whole thing. I will show you different types of layouts here that go with the technique of layered glass mosaics. And you will learn how to control the flow of tessera, stacking them up from top to bottom to form the relief form. I will talk about tools, how to use them correctly, and how to troubleshoot. And I will also show you how to work on this and finish this image up. In the next section, we do have a PDF file for you with the list of the tools and materials necessary for completion of this piece. There's also the list of resources and some information about glass that you can use. Well, let's get started, and you will mosaic to infinity with this innovative and liberating technique.
Yulia, thank you so much for coming to Mosaic Arts Online and sharing your much anticipated and well-known layered mosaic technique. And just so you know, none of the artists that come to Mosaic Arts Online are actors. They are incredible expert instructors and artists, and that is why we have them here. So this is our opportunity to talk to Yulia and get to know her a little bit better and how she created this really unique and special technique. So I'd love to start with, how did you get started as a mosaic artist?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to teach this class. I really enjoy that.
Oh, pleasure to have you.
I will talk about my business a little bit. I've been making mosaics professionally since 2001, and I have started making them much earlier because my both parents are mosaic artists. They do have a unicorn art studio in New York City, and they practice mosaic art full-time. So they taught me the basic of mosaic making with classical techniques, which is stone and smalty and glass. So when I opened my business, I already had some base to start with. And then I developed my techniques further and further until I discovered the layered mosaics. So that happened very close to the beginning of my business. In my Mosaic Sphere studio, I make mosaics and I also instruct the workshops. So I've been doing that since 2001.
And the stained glass is really your specialty, even though you do have the background in all the other things your parents taught you.
Yes, it is. I find stained glass quite fascinating because we have so many different colors that are hard to achieve in other materials. So for example, smalty comes in hundreds of colors, and yet stained glass, you can pick up one sheet and it has so many colors in there.
And the gradations and everything.
It's amazing.
But explain a little bit about how you created this layered technique, and with all the movement. I mean, this is its own form of ondimento that is absolutely stunning. But to show people like that you, the students, can create this, and you start with something like this and you work your way up. But how did you get started with this brush stroke, and what made you say, I can put a piece on top of a piece in this direction and that direction?
So I started with this technique when I was working on Tunguska meteorite site in Siberia. And there's basically an image with snowy Siberian ground. It was lots of trees falling in radiating direction. And I said to myself, how do I mosaic that? Because I could go and put in each tree and then mosaic snow around them, or I could layer the pieces one on top of the other. And that's how the technique was born many, many years ago. So it was born out of necessity that I wanted to create all these topographical views and solar flares and hurricanes, and subject matter that I love to work with. So water, cosmos, and this technique is particularly good for working on that
I've
subject matter.
seen a lot of her work, and just to see how the movement can happen. And explain more about the brush stroke. Like, you do it in a more painterly sort of way. So how does that work exactly to create the movement?
So with the brush stroke, it is an elongated cut that I use. I make it out of stained glass, so I cut my glass along the way, and I will show you how to do this in this workshop. I can then layer these pieces out like paint. So to me, it looks like as if I'm painting with glass.
And that's what I love so much. The movement that is in this piece, and how I got to watch her create this, from a white substrate to the base layer to how many layers she decided to put on this, and how it has the spiral movement. This is what you will get as your design element to start with for this online course. And then you can go right to that. No, we're just kidding. But just so you know that with her teachings and everything that is included in this course, you will absolutely be able to achieve this mosaic. And mostly for someone that has some experience in mosaics. If you're really ambitious and you're a beginner, go for it. But we do know that this is a very achievable mosaic with all of the experience and all of the knowledge and instruction that Yulia gives for this online course. So
I would like to add also that please don't get intimidated by the whole technique.
Yes.
So as long as you're learning, as long as you're picking up the points, you can do this. In a way, this technique is easier. That's my little secret. It's slightly easier than your traditional mosaic, because with traditional mosaic, you're fitting pieces next to each other really tightly, and you want your interstice space to work and everything. In here, you also want your interstice space to work. However, you have a liberty of placing pieces further apart, so there's no fitting necessary. So that's kind of like, makes you more free.
And what's really exciting, I think, about this piece too, is you can make them any size. So these could be made as a gift in like just a 3x6 or even a 4x7, that someone could make something as unique as this, and it doesn't have to be big and super elaborate. And you can learn how she teaches you how to do all the layering, and you learn with the tools. There's not that many tools to learn with. Super simple adhesive. So I can't thank you enough for coming here and bringing this technique to Mosaic Arts Online. There's some very lucky students out there.
Well, thank you, Tammy, for inviting me over. It's a pleasure to teach everyone.
Yay!